Welcome to the Express and Orgasmic Living podcast. I'm your co-host, Renee Faith, Orgasmic Soul Freedom Coach. I support moms who feel trapped and oppressed in their life to reclaim their power, to manifest their heart and soul's desire, and shift their life from oppressed to orgasmic.
Hi, I'm your other co-host, Cherie Linnell, Life Expression Coach. I guide women on how they can best navigate mental health challenges, live their life in full expression without fear or shame, and take their power back to own their life like a boss. Welcome to this week's episode.
Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of Expressed and Orgasmic Living. I'm your co-host, Renee Faith, Orgasmic Soul Freedom Coach.
And I'm your co-host, Cherie Linnell, your Life Expression Coach. And today we're going to talk about this topic that I brought to Renee a few weeks back about this movie called 13 Going on 30, where basically it's oh God, I'm messing this up.
No. It's a really old movie, which I haven't seen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how old it is, but I remember seeing the trailer for it. And I get the gist that it's, this little kid who wants to be an adult. Well, I'll let you tell it because you actually saw the movie.
Yeah. It's the movie is based on this character named Jenna, who's I believe 13 years old. And yeah, that's the title of the movie, 13 Going on 30. So she's 13 years old. And you know how 13-year-olds are. Everything's terrible, everything's awful in high school. And she became 30 overnight because she wished herself to be an adult. And why this movie spoke to me, that why I want to talk about it today in this episode, was that throughout the whole time she was 30, the day before she became 30, I would imagine she was like this aggressive, go-getting woman who was like backstabbing people at her job and doing all kinds of shady stuff to get ahead in life, right? So now that she has her young self controlling her 30-year-old self, everything changed. Everything was just like all these doors just kind of opened up for her. But the thing is too that people did not take her seriously anymore because she was leading with her inner child, leading with her 13-year-old self. And her 13-year-old self was super creative, very playful. She dressed funny, but funny for the time that she was in her 30s. She was actually 13 in the 80s. So can you imagine that? She's 30 years old and she's going to formal functions dressed in 80s garb. It's hysterical. You should watch the movie. But the point is that, so how this movie resonates with me is that we all were children once upon a time, right? And somewhere along the way, we were told some things that, like things like, act your age. As we got older, we were still acting like children, but then someone told us to act your age, or it's time for you to grow up. It's time for you to be an adult. At 18 years old, you're told that you're an adult. Now you have all these responsibilities and such, right? And the part about the movie that I loved the most was how she was unapologetically 13 years old in her 30-year-old body, right? So if I were to be 13 years old in my 46-year-old body, oh man, I'm that. That's why I have my hat on. My 13-year-old self would have loved to wear things like that. I have my graphic t-shirt because, my 13-year-old self would have loved to wear things like that. And people, yes, I realize people won't take me seriously as a coach, maybe because I'm not dressed in certain ways that people come to expect a coach to dress, but I am comfortable dressed this way because this is me. This is my fun side. This is me unapologetically 13, me being unapologetic, even that mess up, me being unapologetically 10.
I love what you're sharing because this aligns with what you do in your business as a coach, right? It's all about breaking out of that box of being 30. It's about, because you know how society dictates to us, at a certain age, like just like what you were saying, at a certain age, you have to act your age, you have to act a certain way. Certain things are expected of you because you're now 18, because you're now 30, because you're now 40.
30. Yeah.
And these are all external expectations of you.
Right.
And so we get caught up with that, don't we? And then we suppress our own true self.
The youthfulness, the imaginative, the
creative side,
creative flow of us, and how we used to use our imaginations to come up with things. Nothing. We were creators.
Yeah.
We are still creators.
Yeah.
We just created differently when we were children. We created with no limits. And now that we're adults, we put limits and expectations on what we would create, and we become perfectionists, and things don't get released into the world because of that perfectionism. And it becomes like this cycle that there's the hamster wheel you just can't get out of. And then time goes on, you're getting older and you're getting older. And then you feel like play is just ridiculous now, because now you're 45 years old. And who has time to go and play in the snow and make snowmans and snow angels and things like that? That's pretty childish, right? Well, yes, it's childish. Be a kid. Your inner child wants to go out and make snow angels. And I refer to snow angels because we had snow just yesterday, and we didn't have enough for me to do snow angels, but best believe I'd have been out there making snow angels, as an adult, I when it rains in the summer, when it's raining, I'll go outside and I'll run in the rain. And Drew Barrymore recently did this on TikTok. She's, telling everybody, oh, we're in the rain, we're in the rain. I tell you, if there's any model for an adult who embraces her inner child, it is Drew Barrymore. God, I love her.
Yeah, I love her.
Right? She is a child in her adulthood, and I love it.
What a healing though, right? So for me, I see it as a release from the pressures that are built in based on expectations by age. We just recorded an episode on avoiding burnout. Like, this is a wonderful way to recharge yourself by really, I don't know, how should we say, not acting childish, but really letting that inner child come through and really sitting in that freedom, that joy, that spontaneity, right?
Yeah.
That creativity.
See, I like the word childish though.
You do, yeah.
Yeah, I do love the word childish. And it's because adults turn that word into something negative, childish, but like, to be childish is to toss caution in the wind. But because we are adults, we know how to rein it in. But our childish way wants to experiment and play, so if integrating that would totally change your life as an adult.
Yeah, you're reclaiming the word childish as a beautiful
as a fun.
Word,
it's a beautiful thing. It's fun. Being a child, childishness is fun. Being goofy, just spontaneously goofy.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being in a meeting and all of a sudden, like, this is in that movie, and she's in the movie and she's in a meeting and she's just like whispering to someone, like, it's, some things are inappropriate, but it's this, the idea that you could be spontaneously free like a child, I think, is important to do.
And I'm just tuning in to our viewers and our listeners, because if you're listening in and you're getting tense as you're hearing us talk, encouraging you to be childish, I just want you to notice, like, what are you feeling in your body? What are the thoughts coming in your head? Yeah. What resistance is showing up as you're listening to this discussion here? And question it, right? Yeah. Question it, because we're not really saying like, be childish all the time.
No,
That's not what we're saying.
No.
This is a tool to shake it off, shake that pressure off, shake off the stress, shake off the box, like break out of the box to kind of realign with who you truly are, to remember, right? Who you truly are.
Because life doesn't have to be so hard. When we were kids, I mean, some of us had hard childhoods, but the essence of being a kid, the creativeness, our imaginations being big, you know, no matter what a child's gone through, we had that. We had our imagination, right? Yeah. And sometimes we just lose that as we get older.
Sometimes we lose it really super young, right? That's one of the reasons why I homeschool, because I think kids these days, they get snatched out of childhood. That whole magical fairyland world, they get snapped out of it because of random standards. You have to read by a certain age, right?
Yeah.
You have to, you know, even potty trained by a certain age. And it's all these external crazy pressures that are put on the child that kind of snaps them out of their natural flow, their natural processes, their natural creativity. And so then as adults, so this is an interesting one, right? So if we were all snapped out of childhood super early, we didn't get to play. Right? Like my father, for example, he quit middle school to start working as a mechanic to make money for the family. So all of these world pressures snapped us out of childhood too early.
Right.
Now we're saying, hey, let's go ahead and revisit that and let that young you play.
Right.
But if we didn't really have, you know, what if we don't have reference for it because we never really got that freedom to play? What would you suggest for those folks, those adults?
Well, honestly, if you have no reference to it, go to a park. Seriously, go to a park where you see kids. Watch them play.
Playground, yeah.
Yeah, go to the playground, watch them play. It's just as simple as that. And it's hysterical. Like, do people watch? I go to the mall and I sit there and just people watch. And I would pretend that they're, you know, I don't know these people from a can of paint, but I would give them storylines and give them a whole new life, you know, just see a mother and her daughter or mother and her child. I don't know if that's her daughter or whatever, but I'll make it that way. I'm playing, I'm pretending, I'm doing all these things, you know. But if you have no point of reference, I recommend going to a playground and just sit there and watch the kids, all these different ages, how they play, how they interact with each other, the joy in their faces when they're playing. You know, sometimes they cry, but the freedom that they do it, and they do it without any apology. They don't care. Like, if they're crying, they don't care who's watching. They having this emotion, they're feeling it in the moment, in the now. They're feeling it, and they don't care who sees it. Just like the kid who's playing and happy, and he's being loud and he's running. He doesn't care what the other kids are thinking. He's just in his moment, playing, having fun.
Yeah.
We care too much as adults. Well,
you know why? It's all the hurt that we've had, right? So it's these walls that we've built that make us care and protect
Somebody
ourselves.
told us as a child that what we did was dumb. May not be using those words, but there was something that happened in our childhood that did a hard stop on the fun, on the creativity, on the childishness. It was done. Like what you said with the kids, sometimes they're just plucked out of it. They don't get to experience a childhood. But I think we've all played. I mean, we played even as infants. We played, we smiled, we laughed. There's something there. Like,
it's still within us too. Yes. Still within us, yeah. It's our innate nature.
Right.
To be playful, to be free, to not have walls.
Yes. And that's what my work is about, is I want to bring that back to you so that you could feel free to just be you. Like, and you, part of you comes from your childhood. And to me, it's my opinion, there's no difference in time and space. So
yeah,
time is just a construct that we use to measure what, just to put in the calendar or whatever. But like, we age just our physical body. That's it, really. our physical body is what's aging. We get taller, you know, we get slimmer, we get wider, whatever. But our energy can still be that we could still be childlike with experience as an adult, the maturity of an adult.
So yeah, so my language usually is walls, right? We build walls, but your language is box. So your whole work is about breaking out of the box.
Yeah.
And what I'm just getting clear to as you were talking is that when we don't let our inner child out, it's an active suppression.
Yes. Yep.
It's an active suppression that is soul crushing.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I think if you're at that point, like that lady in the movie you were talking about, where she was in that corporate setting and backstabbing people, not happy.
Yeah, she was miserable before she turned into her 13-year-old self.
Because she was what? She had that box around her, those walls, to be like, I have to be a certain way, I have to perform a certain way, I have to hit certain goals.
She had to be successful. She had to have the good-looking guy. She had to have the certain title and prestige at her job, and that's exhausting.
So it felt heavy for her, the character.
Yeah. And
the healing was reverting back to 13-year-old her.
Right. And essentially the story was really about the 13-year-old coming into her own. Mm-hmm. But the takeaway that I got from it was the adult embracing and integrating her 13-year-old self, because spoiler alert, it ended as her adult self. Did not end back. It didn't go back to her being 13. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of these movies, like there's Freaky Friday and all these other things where they're switching bodies. This particular movie went from her being 13 to 30, and she stayed 30, but with her 13-year-old energy.
Yeah.
So
love it. Love it.
Yeah.
How are you gonna let your inner child shine through this week, Cherie?
Oh, well, I have an undecorated tree here. We're gonna decorate the tree. We're gonna sing some songs, and I really don't know. It's not something that I plan. It just happens.
Okay, because you're free. You're out of the box.
Yeah,
you're on a different level. Yeah.
Yeah, like my husband, sometimes he's stressed out. I'll just go right in front of him and just be like, "What are you doing?" And I'll just start randomly dancing, like we were watching The Wiz, which is it's a all black cast version of The Wizard of Oz. Mm-hmm. So they were doing this song, "Can You Feel a Brand New Day?" And they're dancing and everything, and I'm dancing, and I'm kicking my leg up, and my husband says, "Don't break nothing now," because I forgot that I have a 46-year-old body. I do not have this young body, but this is what it is to integrate your inner child. Like, I'm not just sitting here watching this movie mm-hmm. as an adult thinking, "Oh, this is a nice movie." I'm participating in this movie. I'm having a good time like kids would. Kids watch their TV shows and they're playing and they're pretending that they're in that show. Well, that's me. I'm watching the movie and I'm playing. I'm being a kid again. Yeah. It feels good.
Yeah, I think music definitely brings me back. Mm-hmm. I love just music and dancing. I think helps me to let go, release all the pressures and that box.
Yeah.
That box that ultimately makes you feel suffocated and overwhelmed, right? All the things you have to be, all the things you have to do, all the responsibilities. Every now and again, you just have to let go and release and let that inner child come out. And for me, that's music and dance.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. See, for me, it's me on the drums.
Yeah,
it's dancing too. You know, I used to dance really well. Now I don't even dance to be well. I just dance to move my body. You know, just. You
know? and we say loosen up, right?
Yes.
When people are super uptight about, being childish or playful or whatever, we say loosen up. And that's literally what is required to break down the walls, to get out of the box, to shift out of certain energy that feels very uptight, and to right. So it could literally be just shaking your hands and literally shaking your body. Like, I believe in that.
Yeah.
That definitely trickles out to your energy being looser and your mind being more open.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, like you did a call to our audience, like if they feel some resistance in what we're saying, to sit with it and name it. Like, what is it that you're feeling with this? Because what I want to say too is that you don't need to make it like this big grand gesture of having this childlike energy like me. Like, you don't have to go running in the rain or making the snow angels in the snow. It could be something as minimal but effective and impactful as just dancing and shaking your hands, like Renee said. It doesn't have to be so huge, like this huge undertaking, because it's not supposed to be stressful.
Right.
It's not supposed to be stressful. You should want to do it and do what feels natural for you. What the child wants is for you to integrate them back into yourself, but in a natural sense.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't need to feel forced. It shouldn't feel forced.
Mm-hmm. And in so doing, you're really honoring yourself.
Yeah.
When you free up your inner child to show up, you're really honoring yourself and
the whole self.
And taking care of you. Yeah. Taking care of you. You deserve to be in that freedom and joy. Yeah. And lightness. It's this energy of lightness that I really like.
Yeah.
That you're bringing to the table here.
Yeah, because the inner child work isn't just about healing wounds of the child. It's also about letting that child out to play. There's a lot of the work that I do, it does deal with some of the programming that your inner child had to deal with, that stops them from being a child and you growing up with this old programming. But what I'm talking about today is really just being playful again and putting play and joy into your everyday. Bring that back. Your inner child wants to be there.
It was Aaliyah, right? That said, age ain't nothing but a number.
Yes, Aaliyah. Oh, I miss her. Yes, Aaliyah. Yep. She would bring my inner child back out, for real. God, I wish she was still alive. I imagine what she would have created in this world.
The talent.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to invite all of our listeners and our viewers to take on this challenge to be more playful, act like a child. Write in the comments below what you're going to do. I think I'm going to do more dancing. I think I'm going to learn a new dance.
You know how to do bachata?
I do. My brother taught me that one.
I
want to learn a new dance. I'll tell you guys more about it maybe in a future episode.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what I'm going to take on. Kind of break out of the box, not be afraid to learn something new, not be afraid to be embarrassed as I take on a new dance.
See, but once you do that, you won't be embarrassed. It's not like, like, I feel like, your first time you're going to feel embarrassed. You might feel that pressure, like, oh God, but once you start doing it more and more and more, embarrassment is not part of your vocabulary anymore as far as yourself is concerned. Like, you don't feel embarrassed anymore. It's just you're happy with yourself. You're unapologetically you.
Yeah, but that's going to be me kind of breaking out of the box, breaking out of my comfort zone to be more free and just free.
Yeah.
You can say childlike, but
just first step. Yeah. That first step might be embarrassing, but that's okay.
And so I'd love to see what our viewers will be doing this week. So write it down in the comments below. Let us know and let us know how it felt.
Yeah.
We'll give you guys
tell us how it felt.
Yeah.
and what you did. I am dying to know. And what I'll tell you what I've done too, because again, it's not something that I can plan. It just happens for me. So I'll tell you what knucklehead thing I did. The next episode are actually in the comments on YouTube.
Yeah.
Go to YouTube, subscribe, like, and share, and you'll see more of our episodes. And we do check our comments, and we do reply and respond. So please tell us what you're doing.
Yeah. Go sit in the energy of joy and play.
Yes. Please.
Thanks so much for tuning into this week's episode. We love having you here and engaging with you in the comments below. Thank you. It's an honor to serve you and bring you value.
Yes.
Thanks for watching.
Well, before you go, if you want to work with myself or Renee, visit Renee at reneefaith.com, and you can visit me at cherielanell.com, and just move around, click around there, and you'll figure out how to work with us. And we are eager to work with you too. So
I'm committed. We're committed to
very committed,
helping you live your best playful orgasmic life.
Yes, playful and orgasmic living. That's a nice ring to it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed this new episode, and if you did, please leave us a like and subscribe. Also, feel free to let us know what topics you'd like to see covered in future episodes. Get in touch in the comments, and visit us on our websites, reneefaith.com and cherielanell.com, to learn more about how we can serve you on your journey. All links below in the description. See you next week's episode. Bye now.